When you and your team have a bad meeting, how does that ultimately affect how your customers are served? And when you think about it, we're not just talking about senior leadership meetings. I mean, any meeting within your organization that's inefficient ultimately is slowing down your ability to serve your customers and your community. And if you and your team are honestly ready to connect every meeting directly to customer outcomes, then listen to today's episode on the Meeting Leadership Podcast, because today we're going to talk about why leaders must make every business meeting count.
Are you a professional who wants to become a more effective leader? Then get ready for practical tips from the coach with the experience and inspiration to help you succeed in any leadership situation. You're listening to the Meeting Leadership Podcast with Gordon Shepherd.
Welcome to another episode of the Meeting Leadership Podcast. My name is Gordon Shepherd. I want to say welcome. It's great to have you here. Thanks for coming to this podcast to pick up another leadership skill, another strategy, another practical tip that you can take out to build your next meeting, make it highly impactful, and ultimately, just like we're going to be talking about on today's show, impact the way you serve your customers and your community. And today's episode, well, it's titled Customer Outcomes: Why Leaders Must Make Every Business Meeting Count. And when you think about this, you have to ask, how much does a bad meeting ultimately affect your customers or the people that you serve or the community or your clients or whatever you want to call them? And what would happen if you connected every meeting that takes place within your organization to your customer outcomes? For example, when the senior leadership team within your organization has a bad meeting, how much money did they leave on the floor because they didn't get enough done during that meeting to help the organization achieve its goals and serve your customers at the highest level? And while there is so much to talk about when it comes to this issue, I want to focus on one of the fastest ways to address it. And that is, in every meeting that you go to, what would happen if you treated every person in each of those meetings like they were your best customer? Now think about it. When you go to see your best customer, you are on time. You are very well prepared. You've learned about them and you have some empathy towards them because you understand their pain points, you understand their problems. And ultimately, for any organization, you know how to solve your customers' problems. So if we applied that in every meeting that we were in, not only would we gain the benefit of sort of really helping each other and taking our meetings way, way up in sort of productivity, but we would also be practicing the language and the behavior that we use to serve our customers at the highest level, day in, day out, meeting in, meeting out. And can you just imagine the impact of that? Not only would this sort of exercise help you to transform your organization internally, but for sure it's going to start to bleed through, because when those meetings get more efficient, then you'll develop better products and services. You'll develop better ways to sort of be a team and take those things out to market. And then, having practiced all that language, when you actually get to market, when you're at point of service, you'll be really well rehearsed and you'll really understand what to say to your customer, how to listen to them, and how to serve them again at the highest possible level. And I think that you have to agree that this is one of the most profitable ways to approach your business. And if I can summarize the best way to make every business meeting count, then just simply treat each other like you were your best customers every time you get together. And if you've enjoyed learning this concept, then check out episode 2 on the Meeting Leadership Podcast. It's called How to Connect Your Meetings to Your Strategy. And you can get that episode by going to meetingleadershipinc.com/2. And then in episode 8, it's called How Your Strategic Plan Can Help You Run Effective Meetings. And you can get that episode by going to meetingleadershipinc.com/8. And I am really proud to let you know that this episode of the Meeting Leadership Podcast is brought to you by the Meeting Leadership Academy. Now there you're going to find some really great live training options, whether you want to kind of learn one-on-one or with your entire team. You're also going to get some great online training options as well. And you can get all of those things by going to meetingleadershipinc.com/academy. And a big shout out to all you subscribers. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. And if you haven't done it yet, please do. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app and we'll be sending you out even more great content and you'll get it on a regular basis. And as always, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Meeting Leadership Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Meeting Leadership Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for more strategies to help you become an outstanding leader. And don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you even more great content. We'll see you next time, right here on the Meeting Leadership Podcast.
I'm on top of the world, now I'm living. And the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter.